Welcome to Medical Mondays. I'm Matthew Bulow, aviation attorney over at Ramos Law. Each week, we're going to be breaking down FAA medical guidelines so pilots know exactly what to expect and how to protect their medical certificate. This Medical Monday, we're covering diabetes and how the diagnosis and treatment of the condition can impact your medical certification. The FAA has created 3 categories for airmen diagnosed with diabetes mellitus. The deciding factor for which category you fall into is determined by how your diabetes is treated. The first category is diabetes that is diet controlled or in remission or treated with lifestyle intervention. If you fall into this category, your AME will be able to issue your medical immediately so long as there is no evidence of associated disqualifying cardiovascular, neurological, renal, or ophthalmological disease. And of course, you're otherwise qualified. But if that's the case, you should be good to go. The second category that the FAA has created is for those treated with 1 or more non-insulin medications. Metformin, many GLP-1s, and SGLT2 inhibitors are common examples of acceptable medications, among many others. If you fall into this category, you'll need to collect a diabetes or hyperglycemia on medication status report from your treating physician or endocrinologist, and current lab results, including a hemoglobin A1C result performed no more than 90 days before your application. If you are granted a special issuance following review, then you'll need to get follow-up evaluations with your treating physician at least annually. The third and final category is reserved for airmen with diabetes treated with any type of insulin. For this category, the path to a special issuance will depend on the medical class you've applied for. For first and second class medicals, you'll follow the continuous glucose monitoring (CGM) protocol. This protocol requires the airman to submit CGM data, an A1C report, an eye evaluation from a board-certified ophthalmologist, a cardiac evaluation from a board-certified cardiologist that includes an ECG and a stress test. And once you've submitted all this information, your application will be considered for special issuance. If you are granted the SI, you'll be required to submit CGM data and an endocrinologist report every 3 months. Should you seek to hold only a third-class medical, you may use the path we just described, or the non-CGM protocol. If you go with the non-CGM protocol, you must have had no recurrent hypoglycemic episodes in the last 5 years, so 2 or more in the last 5 years, and no episodes in the last year that either caused a loss of consciousness, caused a seizure, impaired thinking or cognitive function, required help from another person, or occurred without warning signs. Additionally, you'll need to provide the FAA the relevant diabetes medical records and any accident or incident records related to your history of diabetes. You'll also need a complete exam performed by a physician that specializes in diabetes within the last 90 days. The physician will need to complete a report that must include 2 hemoglobin A1C lab results performed at least 90 days apart, your most recent result within the last 90 days, details about your insulin dosage, diet management, an evaluation of whether you have cardiovascular disease, cerebrovascular disease, peripheral vascular disease, or neuropathy, confirmation from an eye specialist that you do not suffer from a clinically significant eye disease, confirmation that you've been educated about diabetes management, that you understand how to respond to complications, particularly hypoglycemia, and that you can properly monitor and manage your diabetes. This process can be overwhelming and tedious, but an aviation attorney can help you gather the necessary documentation, ensure timely submission of the information for review. So if you're navigating the FAA's medical certification process with a history of diabetes, it may be prudent to reach out to your AME or an aviation attorney as soon as possible to help smooth that process over. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. As always, we'll see you next week for another Medical Monday.